Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Two Worlds Podcast. I'm Jake, and with me, as always, is the mic to my Ike. It's Casey. What's up, buddy?
Not a whole lot, man. Just having all of the struggles with Zoom today, so that's great.
We have been. We've been on the struggle bus.
Yeah. But hey, it's hopefully only up from here.
I agree. So yes, this episode is going to be our Two Worlds Podcast Comic Book Awards for 2020.
It's the
So
very prestigious second
Oh
annual.
yes, it is the second annual. Yes, we'll see how we do compared to last year, but buckle in because we're getting right in it. But first, we have just a couple things of news to talk about. I'll say tidbits because it was pretty bad this week.
Yeah, it really was.
But anyway, Casey, go ahead.
So Gal Gadot kind of leaked that she's going to be in Flash via her Instagram because there's people out there that, don't have much life and they can like just scour the Instagram of hers and the directors. So like basically she took a selfie in August, I think, in the one because she did one for Shazam that's like just known. And it was in July. And I think in August she did one for what might have been Flash, and she's wearing a lanyard. That lanyard matches the lanyard of the directors. So she's gonna be in Flash. Which then also kind of leads into all this talk about all of this Flash nonsense that came out this week, because there's going to be some spoilers. But Zod and Feora, how do you say Zod's significant other's name? They're going to be in Flash. Like that's already been confirmed. That was actually confirmed around the same time Michael Keaton was confirmed for Batwoman or Batgirl, but I just kind of forgot to add that in there. And then we got some spoilers though this week, or possible spoilers for the old Flash movie, and it does not sound good. Did you see these spoilers at all?
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to. I should have had it pulled up a little bit, but I liked it on purpose, so I think that's gonna hopefully pop up for me if I can just find it. But basically, there's gonna be lots of retconning of this already kind of mess of a universe that DC's got going right now, and it sounds like a nightmare. Having some troubles. If I can just search it really quick, but I'll just have to edit this crap out right now. Hold on. Just so you know, if you're on Twitter and you want to search this, don't just type in the search Flash, because you get boobs or other stuff. Something that I found out on accident.
It's kind of laughable that they would retcon stuff in Flash anyway, because this movie has had like 5 different directors and writers. So it's been a mess from the get-go.
Yeah. Gosh dang it. I had it. I liked it. It might have just gotten taken off. So like I'll just say what I remember from memory. So basically Flash goes back in time to stop the stuff that happened, like to basically warn Clark of what they're gonna, like the Zod and whatnot are gonna do in Man of Steel. So then he actually stops any of the destruction from happening, and he takes the fight to like a barren spot, stops any destruction from happening, then puts Zod back into the there's no Batman versus Superman, because Batman doesn't view him as a threat anymore, because he doesn't kill a bunch of people while he's trying to stop Zod, and they don't have a Zod body, so they don't make Doomsday, so Superman doesn't die. Flash saves Steve Trevor, but he gets like warns Diana, so Steve Trevor's going to die, but she puts him in, like basically he ends up in a coma. She takes him to Themyscira. He doesn't age while he's in a coma in Themyscira, so like when he wakes up, he's going to be regular old Chris Pine. And so all of the events from Wonder Woman 84 never happened then, which is like, I guess that's okay. And then I'm trying to think of the other thing and then like, and since he, all the events from Batman vs Superman didn't happen, all the Mother Box never got woken up. So Steppenwolf never comes to Earth, so Justice League never happened. And then somehow Michael Keaton gets replaced with Bruce. I don't know how that one really happens. And then Superman gets replaced with Supergirl. It did not make sense on how those happen. I don't really remember how those actually, how they like trying to do the gymnastics for that to happen. And then the new Trinity is going to be Wonder Woman, Supergirl, Batgirl, and the new Justice League is going to have Shazam, Flash, no, I don't think a Cyborg anymore. Wonder Woman, Batgirl, Supergirl, and they're just done with Affleck and Henry.
What about Aquaman?
Oh yeah, Aquaman's another one that's there that's staying. He's part of it. I think Flash goes back in time and does something with that too. I don't really, like I said, I couldn't try and do it from memory because I forgot, but it just sounds like a terrible mess.
Well, hopefully it just stays rumor because that sounds bad.
It does sound bad. And I will also say too, though, reading this type of stuff is just going to be bad no matter. I think it's a dumb idea, don't get me wrong, but it might end up being cooler than what actually, if this actually happened, it might be cool to see. Because like, if you remember, we talked about the new Spider-Man while we were coming out, like, oh, this sounds like it's going to be doing too much. It's going to be stupid. And then it's actually turned out awesome. So it might be, I just think it's going to be stupid doing this stuff, getting rid of Superman, Batman, and trying to just get rid of the Snyderverse, basically.
Well, that's the biggest takeaway for me is no Henry Superman, and I'm not okay with that.
Yeah, same. I mean, it makes sense why they're trying to get Keaton as Batman, so they have, the younger Batgirl, which it's just so dumb doing this when like they could easily just have just recast Batman, have a Robin, have a Batgirl, have both, have the two, like it's just like you could actually finally have a good Robin, it just with a good Batgirl, like it'd be awesome. But speaking of live action Batgirls, there's one thing that I saw on Twitter that was actually pretty cool. Did you know that for Birds of Prey, that TV show from like early 2000s, there was a Barbara Gordon on that show who is now Oracle, but they did a flashback where I guess she was in costume, and they used the costume Alicia Silverstone had, but they spray painted it the like actual colors, and it actually looks awesome with the right colors. They gave her like the proper mask too, though.
Oh, I had no idea. Where can one find that?
Twitter.
Okay.
Because that was like Batgirl was trending when this news all leaked out, and they were like, someone brought that up, and it was like, I'm like, this actually looks pretty dope. Like I was genuinely surprised that it would actually look good, because
is it just black and yellow?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it is pretty great then.
It's like, man, they could have at least made Alicia Silverstone look, comic accurate with minimal effort, it turned out. it's like just the bare minimum is all they had to do, and they didn't even do that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's totally like that's what they base the new 52 design off of then, because that is like almost exactly that costume.
Yeah.
All right, well, my single tidbit is that according to the Black Adam producer, Hiram Garcia, we could be getting some spin-offs from Black Adam, which isn't too surprising. There's a Batman spin-off, for Penguin and whoever. Essentially, I think Black Adam is basically a spin-off from Shazam. So
yeah.
None of that is too surprising. We'll see what it is. Maybe it's JSA. Maybe it's a Hawkman solo film. Probably not, but whatever.
I'm rooting for JSA. Hope that becomes a thing.
Yeah, me too. Then maybe they'll do a comic again.
We can only hope. I really do think the comic's going to come out here after a while, like probably sometime this year. It has to.
Yeah, I wonder if it'll be the team that's in this movie, or if it'll be one of the proper JSA teams that we've had before.
I mean, I think it's gonna be the characters that were in that. What was it? That not Justice League Infinity, but the series that took place before that.
Infinite Frontier.
I think it's going to be that team that showed up in there. They might toss in, one or two of the characters, but
Mm-hmm.
like they already have it set up perfectly for them. You'd think, they'd have to.
That's true.
Okay, so set photos indicate Tessa Thompson may appear in Captain Marvel 2, along with the actress that played Rambo's wife, or not wife, mother. So
Okay.
I mean that should be neat. I don't know why she'd be in there unless she's just dating Captain Marvel. Then the whole Twitter's brain will explode.
It would, yeah.
But and then my last bit of news is Power Rangers. This actually came out like a while back, but I just kind of resaw it and I was like, oh crap, I need to talk about this. Power Rangers is getting a Netflix series. It's gonna be separate from the kids show. It's gonna be like a little bit more adult themed. They kind of compared it to like the same tone as like Stranger Things. So it's not like full on R Power Rangers, which would be terrible. But it's gonna be kind of like my guess is gonna be more like the Boom Comics type of tone where it's like kind of funny, kind of serious, and should be pretty cool with that budget. Though, I mean, it's going to take away like the coolest part of Power Rangers, in my opinion, which is the suit fights, but whatever.
Who knows? I mean, they could work that in a good
I doubt
way.
it. I really doubt it, even though like that stuff can still like with Ultraman Trigger right now, which it's the new Ultraman. I've talked to you about this. The fights and stuff in it look great. Like you can easily do this stuff, but I think it's harder than doing CG because more people and all that type of stuff. And it's just like, nah, we'll just do some good CG and call it a day.
Right. Well, I mean, is that something you'd check out?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I watched the movie with the girlfriend when it came out and we both liked it a lot. So, and like I was kind of disappointed that like I think me and her and then Mike were the only three people that actually saw that movie. So we didn't get a
Yeah,
sequel.
I know I sure didn't. All right.
Wait, really quick, as a Power Ranger fan from your youth, would you watch the Netflix Power Ranger show?
If it came out at a time where I didn't have a billion other things to watch, like the month of December of 2020, then probably I'd try it
Right
out.
on.
Yeah.
Do you mean 2021?
Yeah. Time is relative, Casey. Oh boy. But anyway, I think that's it for the news. So like we said, absolutely minuscule this week, but that's okay because the prestigious awards will begin after our ad break. So we will be right back. All right, Casey, for the YouTube, I'm going to talk about briefly the first episode of Boba Fett. If you
Ooh,
if you want, if you want. I
dude,
don't have
do
to.
it. I like to live vicariously through you with that show, so let's hear it.
All right, so it came out last Wednesday. The lady and I watched it last night because we had been traveling over the weekend, and it was pretty neat. It's like a little bit of a flashback, skip ahead to current time flashback sort of thing, which doesn't always do super well, but it did okay here. But yeah, first episode, we're just kind of seeing him come back to Mos Espa and then try to establish himself as the new crime lord. And he's doing things different from Jabba, and some people are vibing with it and some people are not. And I'm really interested to see what goes on. The one cool part that I do want to talk about, people are like coming in and paying tribute and whatnot, and then one person brings in two Gamorrean guards, and like these two were like super loyal to Jabba, and then Bib Fortuna after him. So make an example out of him, kill him, and show that that nobody messes with you. And Boba stands up. He's like, "You served your previous two masters loyally. If I spare you, will you do the same for me?" And they bow to him. And so he just lets him go and they become his bodyguards, and there's like a really cool fight scene where they like come to his rescue in the episode, and it's just so fun to see Gamorrean guards do more than just the sort of lame stuff they did at Jabba's palace in,
Uh,
that first, or the Return of the Jedi. So
pardon my ignorance. Those are the pig guys, right?
yeah.
Okay. Did you ever play Knights, or no, not Knights, or I know you played Knights, but the what is it? It was the fighting game for PlayStation 1. It was like
It was
uh,
Masters of Terra Kasai.
that's it. Yeah, you played it?
Yeah.
Dude, I rocked as the pig guy on that. He was
Yeah.
my favorite. Like he would do like the sit down where like all the fire would come out from his butt and all that stuff. Oh, he could grow huge and stuff. Oh, he's my favorite.
That's funny. I haven't thought of that game for a hot minute,
Yeah.
but yeah, that I remember that game, not like it was awesome at the time, but I tried to play it not too long ago and I was like, "Oh boy, this is about like the Sonic side fighting game."
I gotcha. Yes, I'm glad I've not come back to it then, because like, yeah, in my brain, awesome fighting game. I'm just
It
gonna
was.
remember it that way.
Yeah, you should. You should. And I think one of the coolest parts about that was and this is so minuscule, but the health bar was a lightsaber and the
Yeah.
blade would just get shorter.
Though
I
I
thought that
will
was cool.
I will say though, like if you were playing if you were like Han Solo, Boba Fett, Chewbacca, all pretty terrible. Like any of the gun characters, pretty terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. It was not balanced at all.
Yeah.
But anyway, Book of Boba Fett's pretty neat. Definitely looking forward to more of it because I will say some of the fight, it's like it's clear that the actor that plays him is a little bit older, so they can't get too crazy with it. So it's just a lot of like very powerful single strikes from a staff
Yeah.
or something like that. But it's
Now,
awesome.
okay, I saw a meme online where it's like me when I watch Book of Boba Fett, and it's like this really cool scene. It's like then when my parents walk in, and it's like the scene where the pig guys are like walking naked through the street. Why were they walking naked?
They weren't naked.
Well, it looked like they were naked, like pretty close to it.
I mean, they weren't. They don't have shirts on, but they didn't in the movies either. They just have on like the cross strap and like
Yeah,
shoulder pads, and that's it.
maybe it's just because it looked like they were much less clothed than normal. I'll say it. Maybe it's because it was more brighter out.
Well, Return of the Jedi, they were like, you could tell it was kind of like fat suits, and they were wearing like big furry pants and boots. And this is
Yeah,
more of a, I mean, it's still like practical effects as far as I can tell. It's just no one's in a fat suit. They just got some like bigger guys
I
to
gotcha.
to be Gamorreans. But anyway, if you haven't seen Mandalorian, then what is wrong with you? Go see it. And then if you have,
I just forget Disney Plus is a thing.
I know. And if you haven't liked it, then check out Book of Boba Fett because it's cool. All right. Welcome back, folks. If you would like to hear my mildly spoilery thoughts on episode 1 of Book of Boba Fett, you can check out our YouTube channel. That is just Two Worlds Podcast over on YouTube. But now we are getting
Also,
in.
we
Mhm.
reminisce about an old video game.
We do. We do. One of Casey's favorite PS1 games from back in the day.
I'd say that makes the short list for sure. I played that for hours, and it wasn't even my game; it was my brother's game. And he was just like, "Can you stop?"
And I just can't imagine playing a fighting game like that for that long because fighting games are some of my least favorite, probably my least favorite game.
Dude, I mean, like now it's pretty tough to do. I'm not gonna lie, but like as a kid, no, it was just like, yeah, I'm gonna play this nonstop. And like when we were younger, me and my brother, we would do like tournaments on Street Fighter, like the tournament mode, do it
Mhm.
all computers and put them all at 9 and find out which character's the best.
Yeah, no, I've done that before too.
It was
Man,
usually like Ryu or Guile.
right, of course. Uh, I remember like sleepovers at our mutual friend Callan's house. We would put we had N64 Super Smash Brothers. We would put them all at 99 stock, level 9, and see who would come out on top between our favorites. I think it took about 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
But hey, when you're a kid, what are you gonna do, right? Anyway, now we can move on to our very prestigious Two Worlds podcast comic book
Second
award,
annual
second annual comic book
comic
award
book awards.
ceremony. And yeah, so the first category that we're going to start out with is these are this one's an individual award between the two of us, but Casey, breakout creator.
So last year we only had one person we considered the breakout creator when I re-listened to that podcast today. So I only grabbed one person as like the breakout creator for me. I know they've done a lot of stuff, but like to me, this felt like their big year, you
Okay.
know? And so for me, that's gonna be Philip Kennedy Johnson. I mean, he like took over Action Comics. He's getting a lot of people talking, big stuff. Like it started with Future State, and it's just been going since. It's been great. So that's who I have as my breakout creator.
Okay. And mine, I don't think has quite the impact that yours does, but I'm going with Mattia De Ulis. I hope I said that right. And that is the cover art and interior artist for the Mighty Valkyries.
Oh, right
That
on.
that was on another level. And looking at like uh just their sort of bibliography, they've done some like a couple covers here and there in the past, but as far as I know, this was like the first full mini series interiors that he's done. So there we go.
Right on.
All right. Now next, we're gonna do best artist. And so for these next couple categories, Casey and I each chose our top 5, and we're each going to list them, and then if any are kind of overlapped, then that one's got to be it, right? But anyway, we'll
Yeah.
have a short discussion about each one, and Casey, I will give the floor to you first.
All right. So I started with like probably I'd say like probably my lowest one, even though I still love her art, would be Joelle Jones. Just loved it. Like for the stuff she did on Wonder Girl, just outstanding. There's no real complaints. The only downside is didn't get it, wasn't like steady enough, if that makes sense. Because some of these other people did their steady, and it was amazing.
Um, she's on my list too. I'll say
Oh
that.
shoot,
So she might have to be a little higher
she
up than.
she may get contacted about a personal pan pizza.
You should explain that again in case people
Yes.
have definitely forgotten.
So last year, I think I said you'll get a pizza a coupon, but this year I'm upgrading that. You're gonna get. I will if you win. I'm gonna I'll like message them via Twitter. I don't think they'll let me DM them, but I'll message them via Twitter and be like, "Hey, you guys won an award on our show. If you just say like a thank you tweet, I'll give you guys a personal pan pizza of your choice."
And we are going to get so many messages back.
Right?
Okay, so I'll just list one of mine then next. And it's my breakout creator, Mattia De Ulis, because Mighty Valkyries really stood out to me this year.
Right on. That's one of those ones where it's like, for the art, I wish I could have actually read some of that, but I had no interest in the characters. So I was just like, ah. But another one for me that might be on your list also is Jorge Jimenez. Doing that, what he did monthly, that's insane. So awesome. So, completely killed it on Batman was like the best part about that book. So, yeah.
I had him on the list, but then I took him off because I know we talked him up a bunch last year as well. So I wanted to talk about some new people. So another one for me is going to be Greg Smallwood. I've been texting Casey a whole bunch about his art lately. He's done some covers this year. He's doing the interior work on Human Target right now, but no matter where you see his work, I fell in love with it a couple years ago on that Moon Knight series he did with Jeff Lemire. Just incredible stuff.
He is really awesome. Okay, so next for me is Jamal Campbell. Did the work on Far Sector. It's just so cool, so perfect for sci-fi. I really, really liked it.
Yeah. Next for me is going to be Alessandro Capuccio. That is the interior artist for the current Moon Knight series. I feel like every time I talk about that book, I have to show Casey like a panel or a full page or something. It's outstanding. And that's been one of my favorite books anyways, so I had to put him on the list.
All right, and then next is Alexandre Tefenki. I apologize every time I pronounce that name, but it's the artist for The Good Asian. I love that book. I love the art in that book. It's just like that's one of the best parts of the book. It gets the era perfect, and it's just great.
All right, and then my final one is Nick Klein, who does the covers and interior arts for Thor. Uh, Always amazing
It
work,
really is.
and I just had to throw it on here.
So my top one, every single like page of art that this person does, it always is like cover worthy. That's how good they are. But it's Mikkel Hanin. Did I do it right
You
that time?
did. I'm proud of you.
So yeah, and like every single thing. Like they started with the Future State. That's when I first really noticed them, and then they did Superman Authority, and now they'll do every once in a while some of the Action Comics related stuff, but it's outstanding. They're so good, and yeah, I'm hoping for more of them this year.
Yeah. See, there's like so many more people that you could put on a top 5 list. It's really hard because after you say that, it's like, yeah, we did really like Superman and the Authority. But the only overlap we had was Joelle Jones.
Yeah.
So
So I don't know if she actually has a Twitter, so I'll have to find out about that. I don't know how to get her personal pan pizza to her.
if she doesn't, she might have an Instagram. So
Okay, so you
you can
might you
check
might
there
message
too.
her. It'll be
Yeah.
weird if I do it from my personal Instagram.
Yeah, I know, right? Okay, so best artist of the year goes to Joelle Jones. If we had a clap track, I'd play that. But
I mean, if you want, I can try to insert one
oh
whenever I'm
gosh,
editing.
that just sounds like a lot of work. So
Dude, did you okay, really quick. I can like take this all out if you just nod if you want me to. But did you listen to the last week's episode when I had the rumor mill going?
no, I don't
Okay.
remember that part.
Yeah, because like when I get to the rumor mill part, I just like I edited my like I put a second track of like this mill like just churning, and I go rumor
Oh, that's funny. I did not. I usually listen like the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes to make sure we're still in sync, like
yeah,
one of our favorite bands.
yeah,
But no, I'll have to go back and listen to that now.
yeah. I want it that way.
Ah,
Was that in sync or Backstreet Boys? Because I was like the only song I could think of boy band related was Bye Bye Bye. I'm like I know that's
um,
Backstreet Boys.
I think yeah, that was Backstreet Boys for sure. But anyway, we try our best.
Yeah.
All right, moving along, we've got the best writer category. Um, I'll start off this one since you did the last one. I am going to say Dan Waters, coming in at number 5. He did Arkham City, Order of the World, which I just cannot speak highly enough about as far as spooky stuff. It's been one of my favorite books of 2021. So that one's coming in at number 5.
Okay, so for me, number 5 would be Joshua Williamson. He's a Just League Infinity. He's currently doing Batman. He did Robin. I think he had a nail biter. A few of those come out this year. It's hard for me to remember everything he did. The Infinite Frontier. I don't love like absolutely love everything he does, but he does so much of it. It's such a high volume that's like shooting like 80%, which is amazing. So like he has to be on this list for that.
Well, then I'll go ahead and say that he also made my list.
Ooh,
Um,
maybe he's gonna get that personal fan.
I know, right? I'm with you. I don't love everything, but the stuff, when it hits, it's just like so good, and it hits way more than it misses with him. So
100%. Yeah.
yeah. So okay, then I will also mention Jed McKay. He's the writer of the Moon Knight series.
Yeah.
I know he also did Black Cat for Marvel, which has a pretty decent following.
I hear that's
Um,
actually really awesome.
I hear that too. I know he does some stuff with like her stealing an Infinity Stone or something, or maybe multiple ones. I don't really know,
Yeah.
but it sounds like fun. And he's kind of making his way up as one of the better known writers for Marvel here lately. So good for him. I hope that continues for him, but he had to make my list for Moon Knight alone.
Okay, so next one for me is gonna be old Chip Zdarsky. I mean, he won it last year. I'm pretty sure he came in, pretty close to winning it. He, has done so much. But like the big one is Daredevil. Daredevil's just still so dang good that you can't, like he has to be on there.
All right. Next for me is going to be Mr. Ram V. Always solid. He took a character that I didn't care much about, which is Catwoman, and made me really like her. And then I read, I'm totally blanking on the name of it now. It's original graphic novel for Image. Um, that's gonna drive me insane. But anyway, I read some other stuff of his. I liked it. His Justice League Dark is fantastic. Uh, I just had to add him. Everything I read so far, I've been like, yeah, this is really good.
Yeah, I mean, also Layla Starr, which you didn't read, but you should. It's so good.
Yeah.
But my next one is going to be Jean Lewin Yang for Batman Superman and Shang-Chi. And I'm blanking on anything else that he did this year, but I know if he did, he nailed it. So, you know,
Yeah, that's a good one for sure. And then my final one is going to be Donny Cates. Thor is just outstanding. I've really liked the beginning of this Hulk series. I've read an issue or two of crossover and thought it was pretty neat. Um, King in Black, when I read the little bits and pieces of that, I thought were cool, but he's clearly like the hottest writer in comics right now, and there's a good reason for it. I really hope that he stays on Thor for a while, as long as it stays as good as it is. But that's gonna be the top one for me.
so also on my list, I had him at number 2, but it is Donald Cates. So yeah, for Thor and King in Black, like King in Black is it felt very much like whenever I was a kid playing with toys. I mean, that's why like Venom had Silver Surfer's surfboard and Thor's hammer. It's like it's insane stuff, but it was just so much fun to read. And like the first Hulk, I was so on. The second one, I had a lot of fun reading. So I mean, I know that's kind of like cutting it close, but and then his Thor is fantastic. And then my last one is again Philip Kennedy Johnson with Action Comics. It's just been so darn good. Like that's some of the best comics I read this year.
Sure. Yeah, all good writers there, but the two that we both had was Donny Cates and Joshua Williamson. So Casey, would you like to make an argument for either one to be the winner?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Donny Cates just because like even though I've probably liked more Josh Williamson comics and like as a whole, between Josh Williamson's Nailbiter and Flash, I don't think Donny Cates has done anything as good as those, but that was last year for the most part. So what's Donny Cates done this year? It wins it for me.
Couldn't have put it better myself. His Thor just kind of made me realize that I missed Marvel Comics and missed my favorite character so much. And yeah, it's got to win it for me. So best writer goes to Donny Cates.
And one other thing, if you're just the type of person that's like, I don't want what blah 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 in my comics, I just want to have fun. Donny Cates does that. And he even adds in other crap that makes you go like, oh man, I'm feeling something here too. But you're having fun.
Agreed.
Okay,
Okay.
so next up's the most okay comic.
Well, do you want to do that or the Tom King Award?
Let's do the Tom King Award. That one's fun.
Okay. I'll let you lead this one.
Okay, so the Tom King Award, for those that don't remember, that is basically Tom did something very stupid, and it's just like just doing something kind of stupid and scummy, that type of thing that we just don't like. That's what this award is. It's very, very good. He must be so happy if he knew about this, which he has to.
He would block us in an instant if he knew this.
But my number 5 would be Gleb saying he's better than John Byrne.
Oh man. So I'm not gonna have as many as you are for this. I'm only just gonna have a couple because I liked more than I didn't like this year.
Same here. Like I struggled, if I'm being honest. So I just there's some stuff that I put in there that I'm like, yeah, this will work.
So one of my two is going to be War of the Bounty Hunters.
Oh
The
yeah.
fact that Marvel just let Charles Soule write that one in and cost people so much money to tell the same story, same single story comic about 10 times and call it an event. Um, Shame on you, Marvel.
Okay, so next for me is going to be Future State, because they took 2 months and then they're like, none of this is actually important. Guess what? We're just gonna do away with, it's not gonna matter. But then they're like also like, but wait, some of it does matter. It's like, and then like none of our continuity is actually gonna match up because who cares? So like if they want to do like, this is a big problem with DC in general. It goes all the way back that I can remember to New 52, where it's just they want to do these big events, but they don't want to actually coordinate, and it shows.
That's a good one. That easily should have made my list, and I don't know why I didn't think about it.
Well, we liked it too. That's the thing. It's like there were some really good stories coming out of it. It was just poorly conceived.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, and then my other one is going to be Tom Taylor. And that is going to mean his Nightwing and his Son of Kal-El books. They're probably fine to most people, but man, do you know what I mean, dude, by
Yeah, no,
saying this?
what's really funny is CBR, I think it was CBR, it rated his the number one book, his Nightwing, number one book of 2021.
Well, their list is much different than mine.
Yeah.
Dude, like I've said 1,000 times, Tom Taylor just takes his personal beliefs, which is fine if you want to put those in your work because you're allowed to do that. I just don't like the way he does it.
It really, that is a genuine thing too. Just like it's really just with him, because like there's so many different things that I that like different people that put their beliefs in the comics, or even like kaiju movies, because they do that all the time. It's like, and I love it. Like I've been binging kaiju movies these past couple of days. I absolutely love all of
Past
that.
couple decades.
Well, like this is like hardcore binging, dude.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah, it's a different level. So yeah, and they, and like, and when they do it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is really interesting, really cool. But I don't know. It's just, I think it's maybe he's not as like much of a curmudgeon as us about actually things working out, which maybe that's our problem. Maybe we just aren't as like hopeful as he is if everything went right.
That's probably true. And like, I'm not even saying I disagree with any of those beliefs. It's just the way
It's
that
just
it's
annoying.
presented.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the other one for me.
Okay, and I'm gonna actually add one to mine that I just remembered when you brought up the Son of Kal-El thing. So that's gonna be on my list because it's not so much making John bi, but it's like doing it right after you made Robin bi, and then it's kind of like pushing Robin aside. Be like, this is our new shiny bi character that we can promote. Get rid of him, Tim.
That's hilarious. Yeah, because how often has that been touched upon since then? Zero times.
I watched a Casually comic where she talks about like the Bernard and Robin thing, like the next issue that was in the that urban legends
Urban
book,
Legends, yeah.
and it's like, the last issue with that, they're building up that they're going to have their date, and this one they've already been dating for a little while now, and then like Bernard's like, okay, yeah, it's cool that you're missing our date tonight, yeah, it's fine, whatever, I know you're busy, bye. And then everything else is just Tim hanging out with the Bat family.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm gonna say like, if you wanna promote, I know it's like not as cool, like, you want to make Robin Batman and then announce these by to make more people talk about it, but it's like, promote them both equally, come on. But then another one that I did was the Joe Bennett stuff with Marvel. Like, that was just a whole stupid mess that, he gets fired off his book because of his politics that have been known since he started and people have been throwing a fit about. And then also, and like, he wasn't thrown off when he, in quotes, accidentally put a like some racist or anti-Semitic stuff in the comic that the editors just magically didn't see or didn't think fans would see. So it's just kind of like, you're just trying really hard to cover your butt, even though this could have all been avoided had you done your, any forethought or anything like that. They just didn't think anyone would care, and they can say whatever they want, but that's what it boils down to. And then the boner joke in WandaVision. Like, boy, talk about a disappointing thing,
Oh man, I didn't even think about that.
Man, I'm still like, there's still some salt there for that one. And then the last thing is the Tom King for the Strange Adventures ending, because like, he kills Adam Strange. Like, I didn't read it, so like, I can't really say too much. Like, but I read the spoilers. Like, kills Adam Strange, made Adam Strange a war criminal, just made him a scumbag, and it's like, yeah, okay, that sucks.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm glad I dropped this.
Dude, me too. I like read that last one just to see how it turned out. I was like, oh boy, really glad I didn't stick this out for an entire year.
But what would you say would be the number one, man?
See, dude, some of these things, like, I don't know, maybe Fear State, since they,
Future State.
Yeah, Future State. Just because we both kind of, I don't want to say fell for it, but we both paid into it. And a lot of the stuff I was like, I didn't even read this. I just wanted to read this little bit. Yet I still paid $8 for it.
Yep.
So shame on me just as much as shame on DC.
Yeah, I mean, part of me thinks the Joe Bennett stuff, because it's like, that was like two folds douchebaggery, one on Marvel and Al Ewing and that whole creative team's end. Because it's like I said, you knew this was a thing. There's no way you didn't, because it wasn't like that was a new cartoon that he had drawn.
Right. You're just the last issue's turned in. Oh, shame on Joe Bennett.
Yeah. So that one's just, and then like also Joe Bennett for drawing, maybe more than likely Jewish people. I don't know Brazilian politics, but the Brazilian president killing, I think it was supposed to be Jewish people. That's pretty messed up.
Yeah. I mean, I'll defer to you, man. If you want to give that the award, then we can do it, because any of it's scummy. So
yeah, I'll go with the Joe Bennett, since I read all of Immortal Hulk. Darn it.
All right. Does that mean Joe Bennett gets a personal pan pizza?
No. The people that win awards that aren't the happy awards, they get nothing. They lose.
Sure. All right. Then we'll do, next is what we call the good, the bad, and the okay. We'll start with the okay.
All right.
So Casey, what was the number 5 okayest book that you read?
My number 5 most okayest book that kind of veers into not so good would be Teen Titans Academy.
Okay.
It started off hot. Like, it was like, it would have been in my some of my best, if I'm being honest, like my list of 50 best. But then here lately, with these last two issues, it's like it's been real bad that it's kind of lowering the average a good bit.
Yeah. Casey, we have a same number 5, man.
Ooh.
Mine is also Teen Titans Academy for the exact same reasons. I don't hate any issue I've read, but I'm not loving the last few either. And for that reason, it's just okay.
Yeah. So next for me is gonna be Wolverine. I really like it at times, but then it also like jumps around a lot, and it all it does like all this stuff that I'm just like, yeah, this just is not necessary. So it's like it's fine, it's okay.
Right. For me personally, I gotta go with Dark Knight's Death Metal.
Ooh.
There was a lot of it I liked, but some of those issues, man, were so excruciatingly bad that it, as you put, lowers that average to just okay.
I really thought that was last year.
It finished. It finished in 2021 though.
Okay. So yeah, that's how these, like how you said earlier when you said it's 2020, same thing. It's just kind of like blended together. So I wasn't sure. Uh, then I'm gonna go with my next one. This will be a little bit of a surprise, I think, but Nice House on the Lake. There's some issues that are outstanding. Then there's some where I'm just like, okay, whatever. And so that kind of, like I said, kind of makes the average.
Okay. Next for me is going to be Darkhold, which is almost wrapped up through Marvel. Um, but they set up something so cool in the alpha issue and then just went somewhere totally different with the rest of it. And none of it's bad, but none of it's great. They're just okay one shots that you probably won't be mad that you read, but you will never think about ever again.
Yeah. So next is Noctera. It's really good at times. Other times I'm just kind of bored and thinking, this is pretty okay. And so that makes it like my second most okayest, almost great book.
My second okayest book is going to be Infinite Frontier. I, at the end of it, I was just like, this was fine. It just sets up the next thing. But they hyped it to be something really incredible and, universe altering. And it just wasn't. It was just okay.
Yeah. And then I'm going to go Justice League Infinity for my top one. I've liked it outside of, Batwoman Joker. But, outside of that, really, really like it. But, it's just okay. It's like there's a lot of talking, a lot of okayness in it.
And my number one okayest book, I'm gonna just label it Fear State, and I mean Fear State.
That's a good one.
Um,
I'll actually 100% agree with that one.
yeah, none of the issues were even outstanding, and then others were terrible to balance it. The whole thing was just plain mediocre.
Yeah. Though I will say I think Teen Titans Academy kind of takes the most okay because like we said, it balanced out to just okay. Whereas like Fear State, there's times where it was pretty trash.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And since we both had it on the list, I feel like we got to go with that.
Yeah. Okay, so now it's time for the bad. What are your 5 worst comics?
I'm gonna stay on track with the Titans, and I'm gonna say Titans United.
Oof, I forgot about that. That was that one's rough. That's an honorary mention on mine then.
It was terrible. None of the characters felt right to me. I absolutely hated how they did Jason Todd. I mean, it's like somebody who had read only New
Wikipedia plot
52,
synopsis.
Wikipedia plot synopsis, and New 52, Red Hood and the Outlaws wrote that book. It was terrible.
But I mean, like even then, you still like some of the New 52 Red Hood and Outlaws. So it might have been like first issue Red Hood and Outlaws, where that was like them at their worst.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so my number 5 is Immortal Hulk. Even though it did have some actually really good parts in it, it was overall, like in my opinion, reading as a monthly title, just painful to get through. So it's got to go on there for me.
Totally understandable. Next for me is going to be, and this one hurts to say, but the Witcher Witch's Lament miniseries. I tried so hard every single issue, even on the last one, to think it's all going to come together, and it just didn't. They took one of my favorite universes and fiction, and I mean, it was just a total turd, and I hated it. So that's it.
Next for me is going to be Marco Tamaki's, who's making 2 appearances on here, Detective Comics, and the arc that wouldn't end.
I forgot about that. That's my honorable mention. Oh, I know what the other's gonna be. All right. Next for me is going to be Iron Fist Heart of the Dragon. Um, at best, an issue would be okay, but I hated the ending so much and was just so soured by the event in general, even though Casey liked it. It just really didn't do it for me and upset me. So that's why it comes in at that number 3 on the list.
Yeah, that was one where I do like that's like one of the few times where they'll have us like actually disagreeing on a book pretty heavily because I actually sold. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But so next for me, I didn't actually read this book, so like it probably doesn't deserve to be on the list, but I already mentioned how much I hated the ending. So I gotta go Strange Adventures. It's like, how dare you?
Yeah, I don't disagree. Like, even before we were like,
Anti
Tom
Tom
King
King.
is terrible, it just wasn't good. And
Hmm.
I'm so sick of people pretending like he's some deep, amazing writer when he's a one trick pony and his one trick freaking sucks.
Yeah.
So, all right. My number 2 is going to be Nightwing by Tom Taylor.
So I think I know what your
Anybody,
number one is.
do you?
I think so.
So, all of you that listen every week know when Nightwing comes out that I'm going to complain about it. And if I do that every single time I read an issue, it's got to make the bad list. So that's why it's number 2.
Okay, so my number 2, which I'm like 99% sure is your number 1, is Black Knight.
You're right.
Okay, cool. So like one thing that's really funny, when I was listening to last year's episode, we actually had some news and we were talking about it, and you mentioned Black Knight's getting a new series, and you're like, it's by Simon Spurrier, who's a pretty good writer. So this is should I'm pretty excited.
Oh, sweet summer child that I was.
I know. I was like, boy, this did not age well.
Aged like milk.
And then my number 1, which if you haven't guessed this after I kind of gave a pretty strong hint at what it was, it's Crushing Lobo. It's just been such a chore to get through for like a character that I love and a character I was always interested in. Now I'm just like, boy, I hope I never see Crush again.
Oh man. And my number 1, and I'm gonna have to say the winner of this category, is Black Knight Curse of the Ebony Blade, which was just an absolute dumpster fire of a series from start to finish. And I'm ashamed for the artist that and the letterer and anybody that worked on that book that had to deal with Simon Spurrier's writing. He took one of my favorite characters and absolutely ruined it. And not just my favorite character, but like Elsa Bloodstone and like anyone else in that series, he ruined them too. It was garbage, absolute hot garbage. shame on you, Simon Spurrier. And because of this, I may ease up in 5 to 10 years time, but I'm not reading anything he does ever again.
Except for the next Black Knight that he's doing for Death of Doctor Strange, probably.
Yeah, well, that's just a one shot. So yeah, the asterisk is unless it's Black Knight.
Yeah. Okay, so now it's time for the big one. The good, the best comics.
It is. And coming in at number 5 for me is Arkham City Order of the World. We're still just like 3 or 4 issues into it. So I know that that's like saying a lot, but I mean, you guys have heard how much it's impacted me as far as just like a great freaking series for DC, one that they really, really needed, that embodied early 2000s, late 90s Vertigo feels. I love everything about it. The writing, the art, the premise, it's great.
Okay, coming at number 5 for me will be, I'll say Better Ray Bill. I really like Better Ray Bill. Thought that was such a fun series. The art in it's so cool. We get to see Better Ray Bill do wrestling moves, which I never really thought was going to be a thing. It was just a great time.
It was. And coming in at number 4 for me, Casey, is Beta Ray Bill.
Nice.
Yeah, that made me like Daniel Warren Johnson a lot. It makes me want to go read Murder Falcon and like the upcoming stuff that he teases on Instagram. I loved it. Again, it took a character that needed some spotlight and just really made him shine. And I'm so glad that both of us got to read that when it was coming out, because it was fantastic.
I really just hope he gets a sequel series for it because it was super good.
Mm-hmm.
So next for me, this was one that you didn't read, but I would still recommend if you ever have like, your stack that's about yay big, if it ever whittles down a little bit, to check out Ultra Mega. That was such a good time. Just crazy, super weird, super entertaining. One of those books that kind of sticks with you too while you read it, like, which is something that you kind of hope for, because there's some books where I'm like, oh, this was really good, but then like I forget about it after the podcast. So,
I did want to check it out. I really like the art and the coloring, especially on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Coming in at number 3 for me is Die. Die wrapped up this year. That was through Image Comics by Kieran Gillen and Stephanie Hans. It was my favorite non-big two book of the year, for last year too, honestly, because it's going on. It had gone on a lot longer than a lot of Image books get to. It was amazing. It was basically Jumanji, but with Dungeons and Dragons. And I just absolutely love that series. Would recommend it to anybody that likes any sort of fantasy, or if you like the idea of Jumanji with D&D.
I'm like, I didn't know how long they were going to go with that. I didn't know if they're going to be doing any spin-off series or anything like that. So I'm kind of sad for you that it's over.
Yeah. Hey, don't be sad that it's over. Be happy that it happened, right?
For sure, man. Okay, so next I'll do my Image book also. Even though the only downside of this, the only reason why it's not number 1 for me is because it comes out in trades like 3 times a year, but it would be the Reckless series. I just finished the newest one, and even though it had a Godzilla name, had nothing to do with Godzilla, but it was still super awesome. I've loved every single issue. They're all just the best, like thing. Like if you like the best of Ed Brubaker, just out there. It's so good. It's so perfect. It's awesome.
Excellent. All right. Number 2 on my list is Moon Knight. I have gone a long time without a good Moon Knight series, because the last one we got was by Max Bemis and it was terrible. And then we got him in this big long arc through Avengers with Jason Aaron, and that wasn't good either. But man, it's got me hyped for the show. Just kind of reminded me that I love Moon Knight, and the art and writer both made my top creators list. So the trade's going to be coming out soon. If you guys have missed out, there's like one of those issues. It's like a first appearance and you're probably not going to be able to find it. So pick up the trade and give it a read before that show comes out. Really, really good stuff.
Right on. And then next, I'm gonna go with Daredevil. I just love Daredevil. Like it's awesome. It's just so good. There's nothing. I Devil's Reign, not super hot on. Still like it okay, but just the whole Daredevil this year has been so good. Even when they had the fill-in artist, which I wasn't super hot on, the rest of it's been great.
All right. And my number one book of the year. Casey, any guesses?
No, you already said Nightwing for worse. So I have no idea.
It's Thor. Thor has been great. Um, like my biggest complaints have been like, I don't really like the rule for Mjolnir in this one. So it's just like
Yeah,
if that's the worst that I have to say about a Thor book, you know it's really, really good. I always look forward to it when it comes out. Sometimes I feel like it's every other month.
it
And
does. It
maybe that's because Nick Klein needs a little extra time sometimes. And if that's the case, let him have it because
mhm.
when it comes out, it's always gorgeous. He can take a side character like Throg and make him amazing and stand out in an issue. And he's just tying in stuff from Jason Aaron's run that needed to be tied up. Everything about it is amazing. And I really hope that this creative team stays on it for a long time because this could be up there with Jason Aaron and Stanley and Jack Kirby and Walt Simonson for like a long, prestigious Thor run. So
I'm kind of surprised because you griped a lot though when he had Thor in a man bun.
well, that was mostly the art on that.
Oh, okay. And then my last one might be a surprise, but it would be Batman and Superman with a by Gene Lin Yang and like 50 different artists. It was super cool. Like Gene Lin Yang just nails the characters. He does such a good job. It's like, why can't you just be more doing more books for DC? Because I want more books by you. And
Mhm.
yeah, just absolutely crushed it. So yeah, it was just like the future state crap was good. Then when it became like that weird alternate reality film stuff was great that led up to the annual.
It really does make me want to go back and read that stuff and trade because you talk so highly of it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like normally I'd be like, you guys don't have to read this because it's like really not connected to any of the continuity, but it's so good that it's like it doesn't matter. It's genuinely that awesome.
And the stuff that I have read, he nails the characters. There's great just character moments throughout. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure that it's outstanding.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it.
But we did have one book that was on both of our lists. And so the winner of Best Comic Series for 2021 is Beta Ray Bill by Daniel Warren Johnson.
You know what's really funny is out of all of these people, I have a feeling he's the most likely to accept a personal pan pizza from us.
I think so too. I genuinely think that he will respond to you if you
Yeah.
message him about this. So, all right. That is our award ceremony.
Do you guys who would you guys put higher than our picks for best of the year? Let us know in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube. Or
Yeah,
like
please do.
go to the shop and just scream it at Jake.
yeah. I think what I'll do for the Instagram is do a little picture with each category in a blank and you guys let us know who yours are because we definitely want to know.
All right. And so, buddy, what are you excited for next week?
Oh, that Casey, that's a great question that I was completely prepared for. But why don't you go ahead and tell me yours first?
All right. So I will say, because I can tell that you really had it prepared. You have like a killer one to tell me. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why you let me go first. And I'm very, very happy with you for that. I'd have to say probably Batman, Crush and Lobo 8, because that means it's finally over. I think I made that joke last week, but I'm like, I just gotta do it again.
Yeah.
Um, and then I'll go One Star Squadron. I mean, yeah, it should be great. I loved that first issue so much.
It was a good one. I will say Hellboy, Bones of Giants, number three, along with Dark Knights of Steel, number three, and then Arkham City, Order of the World, number four. There's some heavy hitters for me this upcoming week.
All right. So I don't have a Fantastic Four prepared. So I'm just gonna try to make something up on the spot. So like I said, I've been binging the kaiju movies that I want to watch. I'll read all the ones I've watched so far. And like I have my list that I still have to get through. Like I made a list. I'm like, these are the ones I'm watching until it's done. I'm not gonna watch, anything else except for probably Gundam. But so I've watched Damajin number one, Mothra, Gamma Guardian of the Universe, Konga TNT, Howl from Beyond the Fog, Gamma versus Legion, Gamma versus Iris, and then I have left Godzilla King Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, Damajin number two, Godzilla versus Biollante, Mothra, the Heisei Mothra series. So it's Mothra 1, 2, and 3, Return of Godzilla, War of the Gargantuans, Rodan, Damajin 3, Godzilla versus Destroya, and Godzilla Final Wars to finish it all off with. So give me a time where you've just binged like 4 times where you were like, yeah, I want to binge these comic books.
Oh, um, I mean, these will be pretty obvious. Walt Simonson's Thor. I read the first issue of the Ballad of Beta Ray Bill, and it made me want to read everything. And it's like, holy crap, this is the best that it's ever going to be, if I'm honest. And that stayed true up to this point. I will also say probably Hellboy, because I was like, I'll just give this mini series a shot. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a whole universe and it's this good. Um, and then Casey has been polite about this lately, but
Lately?
for years.
There we go.
Starman. Casey lent me all of them probably close to a decade ago. And I've taken that long to read them all. And I'm on the last one. But even though I read it really, really slowly, it really is as good as he says it is. And I would recommend it to anybody. And then this one is also thanks to Casey. I only got into comics because of Casey, and he let me borrow uh, a trade or two of Nightwing by Chuck Dixon, and it was like clearly eye-opening and life-changing. And I don't throw that around lightly like some people do. Obviously, it's been life-changing for me.
Yeah, you were gonna be like a special forces cop before I ruined your life.
He's not wrong. But look at us now.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks to Casey and thanks to Chuck Dixon and Scott McDaniel and Nightwing. But yeah, those are my four. What about yours?
So for me, I'm gonna start with Why the Last Man. When I was getting those, like I'd get the trade, and I'd just sit and read the whole thing. I'd have to like I need to go to Walden Books to get the next one because it was so good. I couldn't stop. I ended up getting like 5 trades at a time. Like after I got the first one, I got like 5 the next time, and then 5 the next time after that. And I was like, oh, I got them all. Great. And then Chew is another one. I got started off with the trades, and then it was just like, no, I ended up just being like, I have to know what happened. So I just started reading from like I think issue 50 or so, and then just read the rest of it, and then got it all in trades. After that, Starman, I got the first omnibus, and then I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. And then I just got the rest of the omnibuses, and I've read it, and then haven't been able to read it since 2015 when I lent them to Jake. Uh, and then the fourth one, I'm trying to think what that would be because I had it in my head and then I'm blanking on it. Oh, I'll say Kaiju Max. I bought Kaiju Max from Xander Cannon. It was like the full, like first, like I don't know however many issues, but I read all of that in like a couple sittings. It was pretty outstanding.
And I would like to throw in an honorable mention to Sandman Mystery Theater. I read one
Yeah.
issue of that, the first issue, and then as Casey knows, I went and bought every trade of it and read them all and made him read a trade or two, and he liked it as well. So I'm not crazy. It is that good. But
Genuine question. how like have those trades gone up in price? Because like I know DC doesn't reprint, like as probably has not reprinted those trades.
I'm gonna say probably not, because as much as I love it, I don't think too many people care about it.
I
They
gotcha.
they were re-releasing them.
Oh, they were okay.
They just didn't finish re-releasing them because that's how DC is with a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, where I was lending you those really small trades, they would put like two or three of those into a nice big trade, and it was
Oh, cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think that brings us to the end of the episode. So closing plugs, if you would, please go to facebook.com/two worlds podcast. Give the page a like. You can also follow us on Twitter at two_worlds_PC and on Instagram at two worlds pod. You can email us at twoworldspodcast@gmail.com. And please review us 5 stars wherever you're listening to this, as well as subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is Two Worlds Podcast on YouTube.
Yeah, and Spotify now you can, if you're a Spotify only person like me, you can do a 5 star on there. You can't leave a review and tell us how beautiful we are though.
Yeah. But all right, guys, we'd love to stay in chat, but we have to go be delicious, fruity flavors. I didn't really think this one through.
Yeah,
Bye,
you didn't.
guys.
Bye.